What's up everyone, Jonathan here, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the best lens in general for anything that you need for YouTube, travel, portrait photography, any of those things. So let's get into it. Now I've mentioned this lens before and I only had it for about 6 months. Now I've had it for about 1.5 to 2 years, somewhere around there, I'm not really sure. And I have shot so much more stuff with this. I've vlogged more with this. I've shot more videos like this with that specific lens. I'm not actually shooting with that lens there right now. The lens is actually right here. I'm actually shooting on a Sony 18-105 on the a6500 while I show you guys and talk about this lens. One reason that you're going to want a zoom lens over a prime lens is that you get a bunch of different lenses in one. Now that is something that a lot of people don't think about, especially if you're a travel filmmaker. It's tough to be constantly switching out the lenses. I remember when I went to Mexico one time, I wanted to switch from my 24-70 to my 28mm to get some shallow depth of field shots, and it was just not the ideal thing. I was just trying to get in the bag and I was just going everywhere with it, and it was just difficult to swap it out and take it out and do that. That's why I decided to just stick with the 24-70 because this has a 28mm in it. Now you can get a 24-70 with other brands like Canon, I believe Nikon and Sigma have their own versions of the 24-70, and they're all good, so you don't have to worry about that. The glass is all going to be the same, and the image quality depending on what camera you shoot on. So the thing that I would definitely recommend to anybody who's starting out on YouTube is buy your camera brand new. I know there's nothing wrong with used cameras, but you're always going to want to have that nice warranty on it for the first year that the camera comes with. You don't want to have any, mishaps or anything, or feel like you wasted your money when you get a used product from somebody. But it also depends on where you buy it from. Now lenses, I've only bought lenses used and I've only sold them used. So I know that it's a good market and it depends where you buy it from. So this particular lens, I actually bought this from B&H for about $800. Brand new, I believe this lens can go for $1,000. I'm not too sure. I'll find out and I'll put some type of text somewhere and say how much it actually is brand new. But I bought this from B&H. Now, I bought this from B&H. I don't live in New York. I live in California. You don't get taxed on it, whatever you buy from B&H. So there's something good right there. You don't get taxed. And the quality of the lenses when you get them are very, very good. This one in particular, there was nothing wrong with it. It's smooth. Well, it's not as smooth now as from a year ago because I've gotten a lot of sand and stuff probably in it. But the only thing when I got this lens is that the lens hood had a couple of scratches on it. Now, other than that, the lens is perfectly fine. There are no scratches on the lens or anything. The glass was clean and whatnot. So B&H is very good to go through. I haven't went the Amazon route or anywhere else really. Let's say you're about to buy a new lens for your Sony or your Canon or any of those particular cameras. Now the reason I bought the Sony 24-70 instead of the Canon 24-70 is that the autofocus built in the lens and the autofocus built in the camera itself work hand in hand. So if you're going to buy Sony, I would stick with Sony brand lenses instead of getting a Meta Boost adapter and using Canon. It just doesn't work as well unless you're just going to use it for manual and shooting like maybe student films or commercials or something like that. When it comes to using this for vlogging or for making videos like this, you're going to want to use a Sony lens on a Sony camera because the autofocus gets you perfectly, just like it is getting me right now. Like if I were to use a Canon lens right now on the a6500, then I would be out of focus right now instead of like it focusing on my hand and then focusing back on me. I'm not sure if it did it. When you're using this lens, whether it's for food photography or food video or just traveling and getting landscapes, you have the 24mm range length right here. You can get those wide shots that you need. You can get those medium shots that you need because you can go up to a 50. And if you want to zoom in a lot and use the telephoto aspect of it, then you got the 70mm right here, and then you can just go back to 24. It's super easy and super versatile. I've used this for portrait photographies at 50, at 70, and I've used this for landscape shots at 24. What's nice about this is that the 70mm helps me push in even more when I want to get B-roll and it helps that the A7S II has a crop in when it's on 1080p when you're shooting slow motion, so I can get really close to my subject. Now, even though this lens came with only scuffs on the hood, I've got plenty more scratches on it now because I have just been all over the world with this thing. I've been to Mexico, I've been to Europe, I've banged this thing up against walls on accident, I've dropped it I believe one time, but I had the lens hood on. It's just been through all types of hell, and it's still working perfect. The autofocus is fast and quick, well, as fast as you can get on an A7S II. Now, if you are debating on getting this lens for vlogging, I don't think you should worry. There is plenty of space between the background and yourself, so you can see everything, so you don't have to feel like it's too zoomed in on your face. Just for an example, I have the camera right here already set up. This is at the 24mm focal length, and you can see that behind me there is plenty of space, and you can see me clearly. You're not too zoomed in, but if you do want to zoom in a little bit, you do have that 4K to push in the image. I really feel like if you're going to spend a certain amount of money on lenses, I think that this is the one lens that you can really truly depend on, no matter what the brand. A 24-70 is going to get you everything that you need, and you're not going to have to spend more money on different lenses. For example, an 85mm is like $500. A 35mm could run you another $500, and that's $1,000. So you have the focal length of a 35 and 85. Yes, that's a nice range, but you don't have a 50mm. You'd probably like that different range as well, and that'll be another $500. So what I suggest is just spend, that's about $1,500 actually right there for those three lenses. So I recommend spending about $1,000 on one lens that isn't as fast as those other lenses. You still will get a shallow depth of field. I forgot to mention that. This lens is an f4, and so are the other ones that you can get. Maybe the Sigma might be a little bit faster. Then again, you would have to get a Metabone speed booster to actually use that one. Now, if you're shooting other things, like shooting commercials and shooting, films, then yes, you are going to want those different prime lenses, and you're going to want the speed. But if you're shooting travel videos and you're shooting quick videos on the run, on the fly, and videos like this, maybe if you want to just set up the camera quickly, then this is the lens for you. So I hope this video helped you out in deciding what kind of lens to purchase. I'm still going to continue using this lens. I haven't really had any interest in any other lenses, but who knows, in the future maybe I'll change that up. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.